welcome to our end of September gardens. And today I'm going to show you what I'm kind of just typically doing in the garden. So I'm still fertilizing. I know that's been like a main question that a lot of you guys have asked. So I'm going to show you what I'm using to fertilize. And whew, bees are everywhere. The gardens are so busy with all kinds of great things. So we'll show you that as well. I'm going to just show you a couple of things that I'm doing to keep the garden looking great so we can continue to enjoy it all the way up until the first frost of the season. So today I'm going to get all of my flowering containers fertilized so that way they continue blooming. This is the time of year that they're getting really rooted in their containers here, so they need some extra nutrients, just like we need vitamins. So what I'm going to do is use my water-soluble fertilizer here. We love the Jack's brand. I always use a nice Ziploc container like this with a lid, so that way in case I leave it outside, it doesn't get rained on. And I mean, it gets rained on, but no water gets in here. So that's always my little trick to keep my fertilizer dry. And all I do is I use just a little scooper here. I fill the scoop halfway and I dump it in there. Then I just go ahead and fill it up to the top. As I'm filling it up to the top, I'm mixing it with the end of my hose end. So that way it's really mixed into that water really nice. On fertilizing day, I make sure my containers get watered all the way until the water is dripping out of the drainage holes on the bottom of the container. You always want to make sure you have holes on the bottom of the container so when you water it, the water has somewhere to go. If the water has nowhere to go, the water will just sit inside of that container and it will not be good for the roots. It'll cause root rot, which creates overwatering and your plant to die. So that's why I'm going to go ahead and just water it with this entire watering can, and then that way it'll be watered and fertilized, and I probably won't have to touch this one for another 2 days. As I'm watering it, I'm going to go in underneath this foliage here, put the nozzle underneath all of that foliage, and then that's when I go ahead and dump in the water and let it water. I'm not watering on top of everything here. It makes the foliage flatten down and have a flat top for a container. And it also creates really bad leaves and moldy leaves when you go ahead and water it from the top. So that's why I really love watering from the bottom. It maintains the shape of the container really nice, keeps it nice and full looking. And you'll just be a lot happier with your containers when you water underneath the foliage. Once a container is watered, then I go in there and I take off any bad flowers and leaves, and that way it's all nice and cleaned up, because then the fertilizer will start kicking in and making everything look more vibrant and colorful and help produce new blooms and more blossoms, and then your container just lasts so much longer and stays prettier for all the way up until the end of the season. As you can see on this flowering kale, I have a worm problem. So I'm going to go ahead and just show you what I'm going to use to help that problem and create it to stop taking care of my flowering kale there. We like using Monterey on those problems, so I'm just going to quickly show you how we mix it up to spray it on our container here. That way you can see how it works and how to mix it. I'll also provide the link to this product in the description of this video down below. I usually use like a 1 to 2 gallon sprayer, and that's ideal. But I just have this little spray bottle I'm going to show you right here, because most of you just probably have smaller gardens, and this is probably just a more practical size for you. So this is a 16-ounce bottle. All you do is add a ½ tablespoon of Monterey into your little container here. Once you add that in, all you do is fill it up with water. Here we go. So now it's filled up with water. I'm going to put my top on and I'm going to shake it. Now we're going to go apply it and get rid of those little guys. All I do then is I go ahead and saturate the leaves. And I try to stick in areas where I see that they've really eaten holes. I've also found that licorice vine attracts worms. So what I do is I go ahead and I just try to remove some of the bad leaves first. And then I go ahead and spray that too. One of my favorites this year is this Gomphrena. It's the Forest Pink Globe Amaranthus from Proven Winners, and I love it. Any container that it's in or any section of the garden that it's in, it just adds all of these beautiful pink polka dots, and they are so showy. These here are snapdragons, and then this here is the licorice vine, along with some calliope lavender geraniums. The calliope geraniums are a more vigorous variety. And then in the back we have that flowering kale that we just took care of with the Monterey. This here has been showy the whole season. This is Steel Tower Eucalyptus by Proven Winners. It's almost becoming like a shrub. It's so amazing, and the color is so gorgeous, blue-green, that I am definitely going to be doing this again next year. I did seed some eucalyptus on my own indoors this year, but it wasn't as vigorous. It's just as beautiful, but it wasn't as vigorous and it didn't get as large. So this has just been an amazing variety this year. Look how huge it is. And now I'm going ahead and I'm fertilizing this container as well. This container needs water every day because, as you can see, it's in a small container. So it is now getting root bound, which means that there's nowhere else for its roots to go. And it soaks up a lot of water. So I keep pouring water in, remember, underneath the foliage. I keep pouring water in, I let it soak in, and then I keep pouring again. And that's until I see the water dripping out of the bottom. That's when I know it's completely watered all the way through. All right, you guys may not be able to hear it, but I can hear it. It's dripping through the bottom now, so we're good on that one. Over here, I've got my mint. This is the Mojito mint, and this one also is by Proven Winners. This one dries out super fast. Mint loves moisture. This one here is just for looks. We don't use it in anything we eat, so I use this kind of fertilizer as well. So I go in and I water it, and then I let the water soak in, and then I keep going ahead and watering it on the surface until I hear it dripping out of the bottom. That's how I know it's completely watered all the way through. And this is what I'm going to go ahead and do with my hanging basket and all of my other flowering containers today. We're going to go ahead and fertilize them, clean them up, getting them nice and beautiful. I do this probably about once a week with fertilizing. I clean them up once every 1 to 2 weeks. And that's how we're able to enjoy it all the way through till the end of the season. This container with all of the flowering kale got some holes in the leaves earlier on, so I sprayed it with the Monterey so that way it would get rid of all the worms, because there were a lot of little worm babies, and it looks so nice. And now all of a sudden I see some new little worms on here right there. So I'm going to go through and just give this another spray, because when you're working with organics, you have to be consistent. So if the label's telling you every, once a week or every 14 days, it's always different. If you have a bug breakout, then you need to apply it more often, and it tells you all of that in the directions. The flowering kale now is starting to get a lot of its really good color here. This is a flowering annual that is better known in the fall time, but I start them in the summer so they're gigantic by fall time, and this is when they get their color. It'll get even more vibrant, so this is just starting. I'm going to go ahead and give it a spray, but I'm also going to do a preventative spraying here so that way the other leaves don't get them. With these two, I try to make sure it gets right into that stem area down in there, because that's where they burrow and that's where the eggs are. Well, everything over here is cleaned and fertilized, and it just looks so much better and everything looks more vibrant. I think just because you mainly take off a lot of that brown flowers and leaves, and it just brings all of the vibrancy of the flowers into more focus than the brown. And over here too, I just got done fertilizing this big guy. Look how huge that's getting. Next, we'll work on our herb garden here. As you can see, it's getting huge and gorgeous, but there are bad leaves that need to get taken off, which helps the plant kind of just focus on the good stuff of the plant and get larger and stay nice till the end of the season. So on the board that Jason hangs the lights on, we have a woodpecker. Can you see that? pecking at that wood. I've been really enjoying watching this succulent container grow this year because it started off with really small little plants, and we used this really beautiful container that they're in from Target. It's Hearth and Hand brand, and it looks like a basket weave on the actual pot. It's just really fun to see how vibrant everything is getting and how much it's filling in. It's just so gorgeous. I don't know if you guys remember this aloe plant from some of my wintertime videos. It's an aloe plant that I left in my basement for 2 years and did nothing with it. Completely forgot about it. Brought it up and it had 8 babies on it, which the 8 babies all survived and are doing great. But look at how much this aloe plant has grown. It has doubled in size. Well, actually probably almost tripled in size. And it's loving it outside here. So I just wanted to give a quick little update on how this is looking.